Hey guys, my name is Logan Shinholster, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Contractor Growth Network, which doesn't sound exactly the same as Contractor Sales Academy, but the two companies work together on a lot of things. So don't mind the name, definitely watch the content because it's the exact same message. I hope you like it. Check it out.
Most contractors as a whole, they got a job right now and they're like, well, I'm working right now. I don't need a market. I can stop doing everything because I'm already busy right now. You're planning for the future. Is this something that just naturally came to you, or did you hire a coach and they kind of said, Tommy, look, man, we got to look to the future and then reverse engineer that and figure out what we got to do today? Where's all this come from?
I always say BYB, better your best. I don't think anybody told me to do a billion. I've always said I want to be the biggest garage door company. But the longer and longer I've seen, I've hired a lot of consultants, all great. The people that I ended up working with for a while, they still look at me like that's a fictitious number, like I just pulled that number out of nowhere. But I read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a ton of books. I buy new books every day. I've got books everywhere in my office. I pick up at least 5 new books a week. I don't read every single one of them that week. I've got a lot of them in the hopper, but I think that setting a huge goal, but more importantly, is living and breathing that every day. Every single person knows that at the company. They know that's where we're going. They understand that they can move up the ladder. It's good for everybody. So I'd say I wouldn't have said $1 billion 10 years ago, but I would have said definitely in the tens, if not hundreds of millions.
So to get to this $1 billion mark, you got to obviously grow big time. And one of the lessons that I've read was that threes and tens, meaning when you get to $3 million, whatever got you there, that whole system is going to be broken by the time you get to 10 million, and then 10 to 30, 30 to 100. So for some reason, and same with employees, to get to 3 employees, what you got to do to get there is different than 10 employees, which is different than 30. Did you kind of find that along the way, as you've scaled this quickly, that what worked to get you to a certain point just no longer works and you got to totally pivot? Or kind of walk me through your path with that in mind.
What I've learned is no more than 5 direct reports, and I learned you got to build leaders. We've changed dramatically, and what I think the main important thing is I don't have people doing more than one task. I think the problem is we used to have this person that used to be good at 3 or 4 or wear 4 or 5 different hats. And now I'm like, maybe they're not going to stay busy the full amount of time, but they're going to grow into that role. And they got to be very, very lean. They've got to get really good at it. So I think what we have could take us well into a couple hundred million. I think what I've started doing is bringing on stronger and stronger players. My COO started at $45,000 a year. Now he's going to make $250,000 plus. But I can afford now to pay people more money to get the higher level people to see the trends and analyze and dig in and find out why this market's not as profitable and find out where we could grab a few percent here and there. You add 3%. Look, if you're at 16%, let's just say 17%, you get to 20%. 3% of $50 million is what is that?
1.5.
Is it 1.5 million?
I think so, yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, 1.5
million. Would be 30. Yeah.
It's 1.5 million. It adds 1.5 million to the bottom line. So you get someone in that can find 3%, and trust me, when you get into a company doing big numbers, it's not hard to find a percent here and a percent there, and I don't look at marketing. I used to be into lead generation and all about marketing. Now I'd say COVID has taught me one thing: focus on the people. I know that one all-star CSR will make $1 million more for the company. I know that one great tech could go from 300,000 to 1.5 million of revenue and be a lot more profitable. I've learned what a good manager could do, an A player versus a B or C player. So the marketing comes easy because the marketing is a derivative of the revenue. Think about it. If you spend 10% on marketing, that means I get to spend $5 million. But when you get a better conversion rate, happier customers, leaving more reviews, giving more referrals, it's easier. And it becomes easier to recruit with A players because they're always out there looking. So I used to get mad and not understand. I'm like, how are you going to get all the leads if you're hiring that many people? But the leads come. They get great reviews. They ask for referrals. They door knock on the street, say, we just took care of your neighbor. Can we check your garage door out? They're just go-getters. And that's the difference is, instead of becoming a lead machine like I was, now I'm a people machine that create leads. And we still do a lot of leads, but the people help create the leads. It's a beautiful thing.
So walk me through that from a culture perspective of the company. You used to be all about lead, 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 and now it's like, let's just focus on the people, because if you focus on them, everything else comes around. So how does this change the culture of the company, or has that always been there? It's just now that this is really more at the forefront.
Well, I'd say our internal customers are our employees, and now we focus on culture. We really want them to be listened to. We want them to have a voice in the company. We want them to know the score all the time, which are their key performance indicators. We want them involved. We want them to have fun. We've got big buck hunter. We've got golden tee here. We've got a ping pong table. We play bags. We've got foosball, air hockey. We've got, you could dunk the trainer, one of those things you throw the ball out, it dunks them. Those are all costs, but we bring in lunch. We bring it. Today we have fajitas coming in. Last week we had a huge breakfast company paid for. We're bringing in this really, really nice deluxe $5,000 coffee espresso machine. Makes anything, Snicker flavored coffee, Butterfinger flavored. I mean, it just does anything you want. And all this stuff is great, but ultimately we just want to show that we care about you. We're bringing in someone to talk about home ownership, someone talking about investment, someone talking about getting out of debt. We bring these people in to make their lives better and make them appreciate their families more. So what I found is, when you create this culture and it's fun, literally everybody enjoys coming in on Monday. Our internal customers are happy. It makes our external customers happy. They've got a stake in the outcome. They're always thinking about what we can do better. They've always got great ideas, and it's become a living organism. And it was like, everybody cared before, but now it's like next level. I had one of my guys, he's been here 10 years. Today he won Employee of the Month for the first time ever. And he goes, Tommy, this place, he goes, I've not seen anything like this before, and I've worked for a lot of companies before you. He goes, the caliber of people are just exponentially better. Because I don't understand. He goes, they're funny, they're fun to hang out with. They've got a great sense of humor, but they're smart, and they're going to be killer at any role you could put them in. And I said, yeah, it's just, we're really about the people now. We've got a great system to get the people, and I think our system is far by none the best. It's better than Bank of America's and Wells Fargo, and not what we do to recruit. Recruiting has become right at the top of the company to grow.
And when you recruit, are you looking for people who are already technicians with 15 years under their belt, or are you looking more like younger, more entry-level people and trying to build them up from there?
I don't want anybody that's from the industry. I want to find somebody young, willing, and able. They're going to go through a lot of stuff to get a job here. They do an automated interview through Spark Hire, then they get put into a system, and then they got to take a predictive index test, then they got to take a cognitive test, then they got to do a one-on-one interview through Spark Hire, which is kind of like GoToMeeting or any of the other tools that record. And then they've got to do a ride along and another in-person interview with the manager out in that market. The ride along is tough because we're observing everything, how well they listen, how clean they are, how much they run their cell phone. Do they smoke? Were they dressed for success? Were they on time? How did their car look? Was it clean? Was the interior clean? Then they got to take a background drug test. They got to be an apprentice for 3 weeks. Then they come to Phoenix for 4 to 6 weeks to train. My trainer's role are to weed out the bad, and they're very, very good at it. They just sent 2 people home last week. And then they've got to get a second pair of eyes for the first 6 months on every job they do. So to make it here, it's a pretty big thing to get through the training here and actually make it. So they're A+ players that come out of here, and it's hard for companies to compete because my guys make happier customers, they sell more, they convert more, and they get more referrals, and it's hard to compete with that. I mean, how can people compete? I can afford to do billboards. I can afford to do TV. I can afford 4 monitors here and cold air conditioning and to do nice things like buy breakfast and lunches. And people say, well, you charge too much. Well, no, I don't, because my customers are happier than yours. They've got a better warranty. We're using better parts. We're driving new vehicles. We've got better tools. See, everybody thinks charging the customer is wrong, but it's not wrong. You know, there's certain people that want to go to a nice steak dinner. They'll spend $250 on dinner with their wife. Other people won't spend more than 25 bucks. That's fine. I know the steakhouse I go to, if I'm not on a reservation, it's got a 2-hour wait. So to think that people don't beg and want an amazing experience with an amazing person, with an amazing company, is just, and they're stupid and they're idiots and they have no right to be in business. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put all of them out of business. So if they're listening and they think being the cheapest is the best, I'm coming to your market soon. Please keep doing what you're doing.